Welcome to Daily Invocation Souls Check-in, your #1 source for inspiration and information on your path towards healing, attainment, and liberation. Today's topic is the safe container. And no, we're not talking about selling you a safe or sending you to the container store. We want to give you a little bit of insight on the ways that we've been trained essentially in building a safe container and why is it so important.
Trained, yes, and experienced. And it's very important to us also to impart that experience. This being daily invocation, and every day and before every offering, even in this moment, invoking a safe container. Today we'll talk a little bit about the meta levels and the practical pieces. But before all that, let's take a moment and drop in to this moment. Today, the Western calendar says Monday, August 30th, 2021. We say safety. We say container, the safe container. So linguistically, just for a moment, let's look at container. Containing. Bringing together. Holding. Here at Souls Enterprise and with any skilled facilitators, all of the above.
I would add words like protection and preserve if we think about food containers. To go with this linguistic, practical, and physical example, you're preserving the food and you're protecting it from all of the elements. And that's how we like to think about it as well, that whoever joins our events, and to be honest, part of the reason we wanted to talk about this, though there's various ones, is some of you come to our events and don't know what to expect if it's your first time with us, or maybe you're joining us at Daily Invocation for the first time as well, or you quite don't understand what's going on. And so we wanted to tell you why this is so important to start out with building a safety container. And sometimes you may not notice it. There will be times where it's more subtle, and sometimes it will be quite explicit. This is the invocation, this is what we're doing. You might hear us call in support, which is another way of saying protection and building a container from all the dimensions and all of the elements, etc.
And linguistically, just do a quick shout out to safe and safety. That is a whole nother topic, and I'm sure we will be invoking it and talking about it soon, but I did want to name it, the necessity of safety on all the levels. Feeling spiritually safe, feeling emotionally safe, of course, feeling physically safe, metaphysically safe, mentally safe, and on and on and on and on. I just wanted to name that word, safe container.
Yeah, I love that. And also, like we were saying, we're both experienced and trained in various ways of building the container, which is, it becomes a very beautiful kind of medley, the way that it shows up in our work, individual, group, public, private, etc. But also, we wanted to talk about this topic. Another big reason is we have attended events, seminars, things we've paid for, things that have been free, with people that have credentials or maybe are very well known, both in their circles or even on the socials and things of that nature, and they're not always the best at building a safe container. And so in some ways we've had to learn the hard way. We can both come up with experiences right off the top of our head where even professionals that we've paid a lot of money to later realized, I mean, we could laugh about it now, but it's not always present, this safe container that we're building with you now, and calling out, and we're acknowledging its presence.
I just wanted to mention two massive components of container and everything in between. Again, this being daily invocation, just a few minutes, this is an overview, but from the invocation, wanted to look at the big meta sort of a safe container, some meta things, and then a few little technical things for you to also check out. On the meta level, there's energetic components to a safe container. And it's a very easy invocation. How do I feel with these people, with this event, with this session? Do I feel unsafe at all? Do I feel like something's off? Is my intuition funky? Is there something bodily going on? That's an easy thing. A big piece of that, I think we've talked about this previously in other invocations, but just to name it again, the level of confidence of your facilitators, their amount of training, their knowledge of containers. These are some things that's going to help create some energetic safety, and the intentionality behind the safe container. Those are some of the metaphysical realms. On the physical realms, little things like starting on time every time. Karuna and I meet a half an hour before almost every single daily invocation, getting ready, preparing, energetically setting the container so we can start right AM at 9 Pacific time. There's a subtle feeling to that versus, like Karuna was saying, some facilitators we work with always start late. Okay, but again, for me, somatically, it feels a little funny in my body. That's one example. Another example is confidentiality, a huge one, and can be a subtle one, can be an egregious one. But we've been at events with lovely, beautiful facilitators who will tell stories about other clients, and consciously and or unconsciously we'll say to ourselves, geez, I wonder what they're saying about me when I'm not here.
I just want to say, without confidentiality, they will name names. So it's okay to give examples of clients, but you either change their name or you just keep the name out. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and also on the middle level, in between the meta energy and the basic things, on the middle level are the agreements that are set in place for creating the container, right? Maybe there's none, and we'll talk soon about anarchy. That's a beautiful thing, but it doesn't always create the safe container that we strive for here at Souls Enterprise, for example. Those are just a few examples. I can run on and on and on and on. We wanted to give you a little taste into some of the pieces that we're working to create here at Souls Enterprise co-create.
Yes. And one of the last things I want to say on this topic for today, anyway, is one, if you're on Instagram and you hear the weed whacking on the back, I apologize. But that leads me to the point I wanted to make is there are things out of our control. There will be times when the technology isn't working and it feels, maybe someone gets cut off in the middle of their share, for example, at Amos, right? This Saturday we get together, we have an informal spiritual party, and we can't help that, but how we bounce back from that. So I have another example, an actual example of what occurred. That's a potential example, but we had some Zoom crashers into one of our Soul Steady events, which is our movement that's once a month. And it was some inappropriate stuff that they were showing, and I don't even know how to describe it or how one would do that, but it was quite intentional. A handful of people that came in and basically crashed our Soul Steady, and we were working on inner child. So now imagine from a facilitator standpoint, it's I think the word is precarious position, right? That we're opening people up to do some inner child healing work, and then this happens. Now, what did we do? We used it as fuel. We took care of it immediately, removed those people from our meeting, set up the scenario, we locked the room or whatever it was so that it wouldn't happen again. And we called it out. We acknowledged that that's what happened. And then we said, what a perfect opportunity to take care of our inner child. So there was a disruption. We called it out. There's transparency and honesty. And we took care of it on all other fronts. And
we paused
Yeah.
the music, paused the event,
Yes.
took a breath, and had a brief conversation.
And we were delighted to hear from someone who was in attendance who's actually a therapist, and they commented that we had handled the situation really well, and they were impressed, and they've come back ever since, almost every single Soul Steady movement event. So yeah, things will happen, but we will always do our best to stay in integrity. And I hope that what you're getting out of this is how much we value building a safety container, because again, we've been in places where that is not the case, and we see the detrimental or the harm, the detriment or the harm that it can cause those of us that are there to heal. I mean, it really kind of blows my mind every single time it happens, and then we have to go and heal from that experience. So we promise to do our best that does not happen at Souls Enterprise.
Yeah, thank you. Last thing I'll say is I actually view it as a necessity, at least as far as trauma work goes and trauma healing. Might not be a necessity for some far out spiritual places. Great, let's go there in transcendation. But trauma healing, I would end by saying a safe container is a necessity. So may you be invoking some beautiful safe containers.